Hello guys, and welcome back to some F1 2016 career mode on the channel. We're going to be doing part 11 today. That's going to be coming from Magyar Nagadic, the Hungarian Grand Prix, coming from Budapest. Having a look at the championship standings as we head into the Grand Prix itself. 18 points clear at the top of the standings, but those two Mercedes in a very hot pursuit as we look at the R&D event for this weekend's Grand Prix.
Okay, I've got something for you. The new parts have been fitted to the car. The simulation numbers are good, so look forward to your feedback. Check out the details.
So, always an exciting time for a driver coming into a race weekend with some new R&D upgrades available. We've got drag, streamlined suspension arms, meaning streamlining the shape of the suspension arms results in less drag without compromising the suspension setup. So, 2.4% increase there, not going to be massive for the Hungarian circuit itself. But obviously, a few races coming up, Hockenheim, Spa, Monza, getting those upgrades in early means we're really going to benefit from those later in the season. So why not? We'll have to make do with obviously the third fastest car at the moment. Red Bull looking to jump ahead of Williams from what I can see there. Mercedes still way out front and Ferrari still holding on to second place. At the end of the practice program that we ran, we managed to get perfect across the board as per normal really throughout this career mode. Just building the bank of resource points to try and get towards, I think we're going to be looking at some engine upgrades if we can, maybe the fuel efficiency as soon as possible. But for now it's going to be the qualifying targets.
Hi, how are you? I'm just passing on your qualifying goals for this weekend.
So there we go, qualify 5th or higher, make sure we beat our rival Lewis Hamilton and beat Sergio Perez. So pretty standard stuff as we're going to be heading out on track for the qualifying session here today.
To build here at the Hungaroring as the lights are about to go green for today's qualifying session. We expect some cars out on track any moment now.
So Q1 over and done with on the super soft tyres, managing to get through in 7th place. Sergio Perez up there, just 100th away from the top slot. So looking good for car performance wise. Shout out to Rio Haryanto in the Manor Racing, getting through into Q2 for the first time in his career. So interesting stuff from him there. As we're now on to the end of our Q2 lap, and you'll note we are on the soft compound tyre, the middle tyre compound available this weekend. So we know obviously Hungary usually a pretty strict track in terms of tyre wear, so we want to give ourselves the best opportunity in the race, and we're going to be coming across the line just 2/10 shy of the top time there. 20.7 we've accomplished, so good time all round, put us 4th place overall, 4/10 away, but also Rosberg and Vettel getting through on the soft tyres. So a real mixture, so 3 of those guys in the mid pack, or what might be the mid pack, are going to be through on soft tyres, while the rest using the super softs. So Max Verstappen once again 11th place, trying to get through on that alternative strategy like we did, but he's failed to make it through as we now head into Q3, where you can see we've done one run obviously using softs in the middle part of the qualifying. Q2 there means we have 2 sets available for Q3. So our first run put us on a 20.1, which was good enough for I think 2nd at the time, but Hamilton's just absolutely obliterated the pole position time with a 19.7, so we've got 4/10 to find on this lap if we can, as we're now going to be braking down to turn about 80 metres or so down into second gear, trying to get the DRS open as early as we can once we've got tractions. Obviously once you open that DRS you lose a bit of rear stability and rear traction, so once you've got that in about 4th gear you can then be safe to open that. As you can see, so far it's been a pretty mighty first sector. It must be said, we're already 2/10 up on our original lap time. So going through the first sector, we're going to go purple, 2/10 up on our own lap, 500ths up on Hamilton, as Rosberg now pips Hamilton for provisional pole position. He's also on a 19.7. So very close between the two Mercedes. We need to try and find just a few more tenths on this lap if we can, as we're just glancing through the lower parts of those curbs in that tight chicane. Nicely done there, just holding it in 4th gear through this sweeping left and then right, being as patient as we can. Just a little correction of oversteer on the exit, nothing to worry about as we now flick it down into 5th gear, riding the curb on the inside, getting it out to the curb on the exit. Lovely stuff there. We're now half a second up on our own lap time. Purple through to sector 2 as well, 2/10 up on Hamilton and Rosberg. But it must be said, this final part of qualifying has not been, this final sector of the track has not been our strong point at all, and we're having a pretty messy run through that penultimate corner, losing a 10th or 2 compared to our own lap time, as we're losing even more time through that final corner, trying to get as best run as possible. DRS open, coming towards the line, it's going to be oh so close. What have we managed to achieve? It is pole position. That must have been so close between us and the two Mercedes. We're going to have a look at that in just a second, but we almost bottled the final sector, similar to Silverstone, but we've just about managed to hold on to that. And as you can see, half a tenth covering the top 3 between us and the two Mercedes, and of course it's going to be Rosberg starting ahead of Lewis Hamilton, and I believe Rosberg as well as ourselves qualified in Q2. Shut up, Crofty! Fuck me! So yeah, me and Rosberg, I believe, qualified on the soft tyres. Hamilton was on the super softs. We're going to have a front row of soft compound tyres. Vettel's also on the soft as well, so Hamilton really sort of the odd one out of the top 4. But for us, that was a mega qualifying session. Some really, really good pace shown. Sort of almost like a go-kart style track, very tight and twisty. Almost like Monaco without the barriers and things. Obviously, Monaco we did very well. So that's looking good. Obviously, the race is going to be a whole new kettle of fish or something like that. I believe that's a saying of some kind. But in the rivalry update, again, we're holding our own at the moment compared to Lewis Hamilton. 4 points clear on that, which is epic to see. We haven't really managed to get one over on him so far. Hopefully, this will be our time to shine.
Hi, guess who? I've seen the team's expectations for the race, so I thought I'd pass them on and wish you luck. Take
So
care.
for the race, our team are expecting a podium position, beating Lewis Hamilton and beating Sergio Perez. We head out on track now to see what's what.
We've seen some astonishing Grand Prix here over the years, haven't we? The drama of 2015 is a recent example. Jenson Button's first win on a wet track in 2006, or in 1997, Damon Hill's heartbreak in the Arrows after a late gearbox failure cost him what would have been the team's only ever victory. What a wonderful place this is to come racing today.
It is a wonderful place to come racing. Not the best track in terms of overtaking opportunities, but with strategy and tyre wear and things like that, it does make for some good entertainment most of the time. Looking at the race strategy, especially the session forecast, we've actually got rain forecast for the end of the session, which is going to be pretty crucial as we look to adjust our strategy once again, like we did last time out in Silverstone, where we're going to be looking at going on to just bringing the pit stops just a lap or two forward compared to what they were expecting. Obviously, take into account the rain should be arriving, so we can afford to get onto some fresher tyres quicker in the race, providing that rain does come, so we can get onto some intermediates or even wets at the end of the session if required. But for now, we have the perfect view for the run down into turn 1. The 5 lights up ahead of us, waiting to turn red and then turn out of colour. No one between us and them. Say Rosberg on the softs next to us, so it's going to be interesting if Hamilton can make up any time on those super softs, which should give him traction advantage. But for now, the 5 red light sequence is on. 5 red lights, lights out, and away we go for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And it's not been the greatest of starts. The reaction time wasn't great. The wheel spin was not great either. But we've somehow left the rest of the field for dead. It's side-by-side action between me and Rosberg down to turn 1, trying to brave it round the outside on heavy fuel. Spot the braking point nicely, and we just about hold on with Rosberg looking up the inside, but he got pinched on the apex a bit there. And we maintain first place as we head down to turn 2, not under any pressure from ourselves, from anyone else coming into turn 2. And we actually got a bit of a gap now to Rosberg, who may have made a slight, I don't know if there's contact maybe between him and Hamilton into turn 2, or if he made a mistake. But as we end sector 1 of the opening lap, we are leading the race nicely. So the reaction time, as you can see, wasn't all that great, and a lot of wheel spin. But somehow, I don't know what happened to the rest of the guys. You can see they're sort of 3 and 4 wide behind, but us and Rosberg got the absolute perfect start apparently compared to those guys around us. Side by side into turn 1, Rosberg not really being brave enough down there. We managed to maintain the lead as we headed into turn 2. Just keeping an eye on Rosberg as we come into turn 2, and it's a lock up on that front left. That means he's lost a little bit of time to us, so thankfully that gives us a little bit of breathing space for the opening lap or so of this Grand Prix. And as you can see, we've utilised that by getting across the line at the end of lap 1, still in first place. And obviously we're only going to have to really worry about what I presume is going to be turn 1 and turn 2 from the AI, as we should be able to defend around the rest of the track if need be. Coming towards the end of lap 6, our teammate is in the pits. Lewis Hamilton also on the pits on their super softs, and Rosberg only now really posing a threat to us with his straight line speed down to turn 1. We're going to go defensive. We've gone a little bit deep. They try not to lock up these tyres. We've got on the marbles on the exit. Rosberg has got the undercut, and again we'll have DRS onto turn 2, and he's going to take the race lead from us at the start of lap 7. So I think as obviously Hamilton's come in, the super soft runs have come in, Mercedes has given the call to Rosberg to say, right, turn the engine up, try and get into the lead and try and get as far away from the Force India and the Ferrari as you possibly can. There's a little bit of contact into turn 4 there, but nothing untoward, as we're just going to try and follow Rosberg as best we can until we maybe get an opportunity later in the lap or later in the race to make a move on him, similar to what he did to us. So you can see end of lap 8. We are getting a decent run, slipstream, rich mixture, DRS active, a fastest lap of a 23.4. We asked the team if we can come in, and they say that's absolutely fine. But as we're on track right now, we are looking up the inside of Rosberg into turn 1, getting the move just about done, squeezing him out on the exit. We get DRS once again, which is going to see us through into turn 1. And Vettel keeping a watching brief on us as we're battling out of the lead. He's not dropped off there. He's right in the mix, with the strategy coming into play already. Obviously the softs and super softs in play at the start of this race. So we're coming into the pits at the end of lap 9. Plenty of fuel still saved up in case we need that later in the race. However, we are coming in, we've got Rosberg and Vettel coming in behind, so we need a swift as fuck pit stop from Force India today for this first one of the race to make sure we get out ahead of those guys. Soft tyres going on again, and we've been held in the pit lane. 5.3. Force India have not done what was required from them. Interestingly, Vettel actually going into medium tyres there. I believe Rosberg is actually on soft as well as us. However, that does mean that we've been jumped, so we were in the net race lead. As for some reason Hamilton, I believe, must have had traffic, because although he had the undercut, he is still quite a way behind us, as we're now looking all over the back of Vettel. Coming to turn 2, we can see that he's on the medium compound tyres. We need to get this move done now to get onto the back of Rosberg if we can, and we do get the move done. So going up the inside of Vettel there straight after the pit stop, that's good stuff for us in the grand scheme of things. However, over the next few laps, Rosberg was able to pull a gap, and Verstappen, for some reason, like Austria, you can see he's right in front of Rosberg, but his dot is not on the mini-map in the bottom left-hand corner. And at this point in the race, it's crucial that Rosberg has caught Verstappen in the worst part of the track. He wasn't able to make the move through the first sector, and he's been held up behind the Red Bull throughout this whole rest of the lap, and that has allowed us to gain well over a second on him. As we now come towards the end of the lap, we're going to be back within DRS range of Rosberg and Verstappen for that matter. The interesting thing now is going to be obviously Rosberg's going to make the move on Verstappen. We need to make something happen here to make sure we don't end up behind Verstappen for a whole lap like Rosberg was. So Rosberg goes up the inside, Vettel having a little bit of a swipe, Verstappen having a nice English, Verstappen having a little swipe at Rosberg. We've dived up the inside, Rosberg having a little bit of a correction in the mid part of turn 1, and we're now going wheel to wheel down into turn 2, braking as late as we possibly dare. And again, Rosberg, for some reason, when he's on the inside, he's not comfortable going in deep on the brakes, as we have a snap of oversteer on the exit. Thankfully, Rosberg was not still alongside us, and we do get back the provisional race lead. As Rosberg looking up the inside, we've left him just a little bit of room, but again, he's not committed to that overtake, and we are into the lead of this race once more on lap 14 of the Hungarian Grand Prix. You can see the clouds really rolling in here, so that weather seems to be on the horizon, it must be said. As we're on lap 17 now, Rosberg behind us, Hamilton and Vettel keeping themselves occupied just a few seconds back, and Vettel actually getting ahead of Hamilton at that point, as Rosberg, coming out of nowhere, is just smeared into the back of our car. I have no idea what he's doing there. I mean, we weren't really paying too much attention to him. I could see him in the wing mirror, but we were just parked in the middle of the track, just keeping out of the way. Ericsson's actually out of the race. And you can see, like, we're just in the middle of the track, not weaving about like Verstappen or anything, and Rosberg just clears us out for some reason. No front wing damage as far as I can see on that Mercedes, so he's got away with that one. But rejoining the action at the start of Sector 2, we've got a virtual safety car for the first time, I believe, in this career mode. So with that then, so you've got the top right hand corner, you've got a delta lap time that you need to keep under as such, which we just managed now. As long as you keep that green for when the virtual safety car comes or goes away, we should be okay there. So virtual safety car now coming to an end on the exit of the third to last corner. So not the best place for it to come out, as it now means that we're right into the DRS detection point, and Rosberg certainly is within our DRS range. So he's going to pick that up. Vettel still leading the way in that duel between him and Hamilton, which is really hurting Hamilton's progress at this point in the race, as we're looking for a weather report, which our engineer is not going to give us because he's being a little bitch. But even so, coming into turn 1, oh no, here we go, radar showing light rain arriving in 5 minutes time, so that's a lot earlier than I was expecting, it must be said. So we're now in a position as keeping it on Rosberg, he's coming towards us into turn 2 again. He's not hit the back of us this time, we just managed to hold him off for now. But yeah, that rain 5 minutes away, so that's going to be what, 3 or 4 laps as Rosberg pits on what would have been our normal lap to pit as well. So he's made the call to come in and try and get some fresh boots on to try and make the most of them while the track is still dry. We've made the call to say we need to keep on these tyres until that rain comes. I'm under the impression that there's not a chance we're going to be able to come in for a fresh set of tyres and make up enough time in terms of the pit stop before the rain comes down, as we look to try and get another weather report. And so engineer saying whether the rain expected any time now. As we get the flash on our screen, that is the graphical indicator to say that the rain is now falling. So you can't see it very well on the Force India, it must be said, because of the colour of the cockpit there, but the rain is falling at the start of what I think was lap 22, and just a couple of laps later you can see it's really falling now. DRS disabled, that's the telltale sign to say that it's now time to come in for intermediate, so you see just how much we're struggling. It does seem to be something with this game, a characteristic of the game, where we seem to struggle from the dries to intermediates. Those few laps where the rain is falling, the AI seem to be superior to us. You see Vettel is actually well in play in this race. His medium tyre strategy for this second stint has paid dividends for him. As we're sliding through the penultimate corner, just about keeping it on the track. Vettel looking up the inside as we try and get the power down coming into the pit lane. And we're going to probably face the same dilemma we had in the first stop, where we've got a car right behind us who could jump us as we're power sliding through the entry to the pit lane, making sure we can get the car slowed down under these tricky, slippery conditions in the pit lane. But we are into the pits, intermediates coming onto the car, Vettel right behind us again. So please, Force India, please can we get out ahead of the Ferrari this time round? No, we can't. Unbelievable. 3.9 this time. Vettel once again getting the jump on us. Rosberg's in the pit lane. Looks like Hamilton's actually stayed out because Rosberg has come into the pit lane. And we're going to be coming to turn 1. There goes Hamilton. You can see just how much he's having to be careful as he's turning into turn 1. Unbelievably close. I don't know if he was aware that there was 2 cars coming out of the pit. I mean, he should have been, because he should have seen us. But he tried to turn into the apex of turn 1. We weren't having any of it. We put our nose up the inside. Risky strategy, but it paid off, as it meant we've kept track position right behind Vettel. And normally with the intermediate conditions, we are pretty good compared to the AIs. We're now into the final corner of lap 25. You can see we're just trying to line up a run on Sebastian Vettel as best as we can. No DRS active, of course, but we've got to rely on the slipstream and rich mixture, which seems to be enough. Pulling out the last second, coming into turn 1, trying to spot the braking point as best we can, as we've gone in a little bit deep. Same as what we did when we were defending from Rosberg early in the race in dry conditions. But what it does mean is we get some decent straight line traction compared to Vettel as we pick up a little bit of slipstream, having a little bit of a move, and we've actually had to take, that was actually avoiding action to make sure that we didn't smear into the back of Vettel like Rosberg did to us earlier in the race. So thankfully that's actually we've managed to pull that off as an actual overtake, as we're getting a little bit of traction loss on the curve. Vettel coming back round the outside of turn 4, surely not. And absolutely not indeed. He's just gone a little bit deep, run wide, and we've got that position. So we are now back into the race lead with just 10 laps to go or so. And it's going to be interesting to see if the rain falls hard enough to get the full wet weather tyres on. As we've now got yellow flags out. Gutierrez seems to be the car causing them. And as you can see from the bottom left-hand corner, he seems to be just up the road, and there he is. So we're going to hope that he's going to not make life too difficult for us, as nope, he's absolutely fine on that front. So we make our way past him nicely as we now come through turn 4, as we're now making our way up to Verline, the back marker. And Sebastian Vettel is out of the race. What on earth has happened to Sebastian Vettel? He's come up but just behind us to lap Gutierrez, or past Gutierrez, and he's just crashed into the back of it. I don't know what was going on there. Oh, it looks like Gutierrez was sort of off the racing line, has then taken or retaken the racing line on the way into turn 4, which has caught Vettel out apparently. For some reason, he's just hit him at full speed, and that front right is not lasting. He is out of the race. He's thrown away a possible second place in this race, which is bad news for us because it means the Mercedes are going to be gaining an extra position, some more points in the championship. But for now, it looks like we are just about comfortable ahead of Rosberg and Verstappen, the 2 other podium sitters at the moment. As see the rain really hammering down now, and it's almost caught us out through turn 3. A huge oversteer moment. We just about keep the car facing in the right direction as we now start the final lap of the race. To say, I think the rest of the AI, as well as ourselves, had the impression that it was probably time for full wet tyres, but with the amount of laps left, it wasn't going to be worth coming in and putting them on, because of the time loss. It's just going to be a case of trying to tiptoe around the final few laps. As you can see, wheel spin even in 5th gear on these intermediate compound tyres in these heavy wet conditions. He puddles off the racing line. The racing line in itself not too bad, but as soon as you get off that, you're in real trouble, as we have a little bit of a moment through turn 3 again, but we're through there without any issue. 3 laps of fuel remaining on this final lap, so you see we've really overfueled the car unfortunately this time round, but it hasn't affected pardon me, it is not, how professional am I by the way, but yeah, it hasn't affected our race pace all too much, as we're just going to see out this final lap if we can, just riding on board for the full lap itself, just so you can see what the conditions were like and what we were having to deal with at the end of this Hungarian Grand Prix. So after the early escapades, I don't know what happened to Hamilton. Obviously that lap that he had to do where he was still on dry tyres compared to what was required, which was the intermediates, because of Rosberg coming to the pits, Mercedes deciding not to double stack them. It looks to really cost him dearly. I don't know where he is, but he's certainly not on the podium, that's for sure, at this point of the race. But for us, we're not really worried about him. We're only worried about ourselves, because at the moment we are leading the championship, and we're going to be extending that championship lead going into the next few rounds at least. here as we come around the final few corners, just to make sure we can get the car over the line. Grosjean ahead, the back marker not going to be causing us any problems as we round the final corner for part 11 of this career mode in F1 2016. We're going to win another race this season. It's going to be the Hungarian Grand Prix today.
So another fantastic victory for Force India today. Tell me, Ant, what was the key to this success?
Well, keeping their tyre temperatures up in the tricky wet conditions was really important. There's not much grip out there at the best of times, and it's 10 times worse if you're out there on cold tyres. So the way they kept the rubber in its proper operating window was a huge advantage today.
I can see them on their way out to the podium now. Force India have really come a long, long way in this sport. And what a special race this was, to see them earn that top spot.
Absolutely. So another winner's trophy for us today. It's been a little while since we've been on that top side of the podium, but it's good to be back as the champagne flies once again for us. Joined on the podium by Nico Rosberg and Max Verstappen this time round. So again, Hungarian Grand Prix, throw in a bit of rain and you get absolutely carnage there. So even if the rain had to come, it was looking like a very good race, very interesting race, as Hamilton actually came home in 4th place there. Our teammate 5th place, so good job from him. Shout out to Alonso for a 7th place finish. So, as you can see, pretty dominant towards the end of that race. So it was a good battle early on between ourselves, Rosberg and Vettel. Interesting to see how that strategy played out. Obviously, Vettel was on course for an extremely good race, a good strategy with that medium tyre compound until he decided to blow himself up on the back of Gutierrez for some reason. For those other championship standings, I'll let Crofty talk for a bit, considering he's so eager to talk.
Ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
I'd say Max Verstappen earns that title today. Opportunistic, I think, is the word. Is something he's become known for during his short career so far, and it's served him well here.
And now let's take a look at the constructors' standings. We saw a dip in form from the championship leaders today. Their lead has taken a significant blow. It was great having you with us for this weekend. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Until next time though, goodbye.
So in terms of the drivers' standings, we are 31 points ahead of both Rosberg and Hamilton. The two Mercedes drivers level on points there, but both of them outside a win behind us now, so that's absolutely crucial and a real relief to our championship hunt as we're just collecting the final few resource points for this episode. The rivalry update is really going to be looking good for us here today. So we've actually dominated Hamilton once again, 24 points to 16. That might be accomplishable by next time out, which is going to be from Germany. Hockenheim, of course, that'll be part 12, which hopefully will be out sooner rather than later, but you know, it's me we are talking about after all, so you can never be quite sure. However, that's going to be the way things stand. 710 points in the resource bank. We're going to be holding on to those and getting some engine upgrades. Looking forward to the likes of Spa and Monza. So until then, that's going to be it for this episode of the Career Mode. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. A real mixture of action on the track there. We came away victorious once again, building our championship lead, heading on to the rest of the season. So I hope to see you guys next time out. Thank you for watching, and until next time, it is bye for now.